Thank you, sir, for being with us, and you're welcome. Over to you, sir.
All right. So it's afternoon here. Good afternoon, everybody. Just confirm that you can hear me. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, can hear you. Good afternoon, sir. We can hear you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the many hosts, Elizabeth, Dare, and I want to thank the team for being consistent. Most times when I hear, the comments about being called on to facilitate and all of that, my response is that it's a duty. It's a duty because I believe so much in Assad. I believe that the gap that Assad is, or the needs that Assad is meeting, only heaven will be able to reward them for the things they do. I'm also grateful for the kind of partnership that we have. I'm grateful for Dare shouldering the many responsibilities he doesn't even mention to people. It's not easy to be able to put this together consistently for years. And I think that we should please give him a round of applause in the comment section. Just say thank you, Dare, for being exceptional. Just say thank you to Dare. He's truly been an exceptional person. I want you to know, Dare, that I love you. I'm looking forward to your wedding this year, and I really would love to grace that occasion. So let's know ahead. Abi Assad people, we want Dare to marry now, isn't it?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, we want him to get married. All right. So I've got 30 minutes, and I have a principle, which is keeping it short and simple. And I'll use some illustrations, I'll use some quotes. I would also need us to respond when I need us to respond. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask once I'm done. I'm certain that the 30 minutes we're spending, everyone will be able to take something specific, at the end of the day. So let me start by, making you understand mental health. And I believe strongly that illustrations are powerful. So I want you to imagine your mind was a garden. Follow me closely. And the thoughts you plant, the emotions you nurture, and the relationships you cultivate, they all determine whether your garden thrives. I'm going to say that again. I want you to imagine that your mind was a garden, right? The thoughts you plant, the emotions you nurture, and the relationships you cultivate, they all determine whether your garden thrives or whether your garden withers. All right? But what happens when weeds like stress, like anxiety, like depression, like stigma creeps in? I'm going to say that again because this is going to be the foundation for everything I'm going to say. I said, I want you to imagine that your mind was a garden, right? And imagine that the thoughts you plant, right? The emotions you nurture, and the relationships you cultivate, will determine whether your garden thrives or your garden withers. All right? But what happens when weeds like stress, anxiety, depression, isolation, loneliness, or stigma begins to creep into the garden? Now, mental health is more than just the absence of illness, right? I want to say that again. Mental health is not just the absence of illness. Mental health is the foundation of everything that we do. How we think, how we feel, how we connect with the world around us, all right? Yet, despite its importance, it's often misunderstood, ignored, or even feared. Today, we will uncover the truth about mental health. We would also attempt to explore, from that figurative perspective, the weeds, explore why it is hard to talk about it, learn how you can break the stigma that holds us back. But also, it's good for us to start by asking ourselves, if we care so much for our physical health, why do we struggle to prioritize our mental well-being? Can I take that feedback from people? So I'm asking the audience, if we care so much, about our physical health, can you tell me why it is that people don't prioritize their mental well-being? Let me just get your comment in this comment section. The barbing industry, the hairstylist industry, the makeup industry, they run into billions. In fact, the revenue in the last December, for those that were doing Get It December and all of that, ran into, millions of naira. Okay, hundreds of millions of naira, if you ask me, right? So why do you think that people prefer to spend on, okay, so someone says, I think because of the consumption people have, I think for some it's a stigma around, there's a stigma around it. Let's keep it coming. Ignorance, thank you, Consola. Yeah, some people said it's ignorance. No proper understanding, favor, thank you. Lack of awareness, okay. Let me take like 3 more. So why do you think that despite the importance of mental health, okay, probably because it's not physical, yeah. One more, then we'll take it from there. Religion, thank you, Mary, yeah. Religion plays a good part. I mean, brilliant. It shows that you guys are students. People believe it's a spiritual problem. Yes. I mean, Stephanie, if I go in that area, we won't even misunderstanding. Tomorrow. Yeah, misunderstanding. If I talk about that one, is a different kettle of fish. I've had tens of clients referred to me after they had gone to, as it were, a spiritual home. I don't want to mention whether Christian or Muslim. I don't leave that out of it. And they had grown from bad to worse because they believed that was a spiritual problem. I even had a particular one. I'm sorry, no problem. No, I don't have issues with white garment churches, but this particular one, the parents took her to a white garment church and they kept, beating her, doing all sorts of things that was not even going to help her come out of it in the first place. So, yeah, religion. Anyway, but today we will uncover the truth about mental health. We will explore why it's so hard to talk about. And today I would also attempt to help you to learn how we can break the stigma that holds us back. But let's start, by asking ourselves that question and also taking that question to, our communities. Just ask a friend, so why don't you like to talk about mental health? Just like I've always liked to say, it's a collective responsibility. All right, advocates. All right. I love a quote by Naomi Stephanie. I think it's Steps also. And she says that mental health is not where you are going. I'm going to say that again. Mental health is not a destination, it's a process. It's not about where you are, it's not about how you drive, it's about where you're going. So, what is mental health? Just to reiterate for everyone to come to stand with. There are many definitions, but I love the one by, I think, Adam Ant. And she said, mental health needs a great deal of attention. It's the final taboo, and it needs to be faced and dealt with. All right? Because if you don't understand what mental health is, You will just join part of people who are just stigmatizing the entire thing. And you see, if you don't understand how you can control your thoughts, you just have to stop joining the bandwagon that always says that QQ, Sarah, whatever will be, will be. So you don't have to control your thoughts, but you have to stop them from controlling you. All right. Recently, a friend of mine was sharing with me how all his social media account went, it just went blank. Found I couldn't find his Facebook again. He couldn't find his Instagram page again. And he said something to me that is so profound. He said, I don't have control about what, Meta does about my stuff, but I have control about how my emotion or how I respond to what Meta has done. So it's also good to look at why the stigma, because what mental health needs is more sunlight, more candor, and more unashamed conversation. I want to say that again. So as we begin to talk about, breaking the stigma and all of that, one of the things that we all need to do is we need to put it out there. The things that you learn from this session, for example, put it on your status, all right? Put it on your Facebook, share it on Facebook, all right? We need to switch to having a more unashamed conversation, all right? Because it's okay not to be okay. Many people feel bad that they are not okay, and they're ashamed to tell people that they're not okay. So I'm going to say that again. It's okay not to be okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk about it. All right? I'm going to say that again. It's okay not to be okay because life happens. Because for me, mental health is a summation of how we feel. That's our emotional health and how we interact with our world. All right? So our relationship quotient, our emotional quotient, all of that forms our moods and emotions. And sometimes maybe when you lose someone passes on. It's okay when when you are down. But you see, it becomes an issue when it now becomes persistent. I mean, I live in the UK and I found out that a lot of people are just isolated. Now, isolation is not a bad thing, especially when you want your me time. But when your me time becomes, prioritized over a regular time. Someone's putting something here. Okay. Then it becomes worrisome. So it's important to know that then also a few things that can contribute to mental health. On top of the list is stress. All right, there are different things that can lead to stress, but I always mention stress. We can't talk about mental illness without talking about the impact of stress. So if you're writing, stress is one factor, anxiety is another one, depression, okay, can cause it can be a trigger to it. Loneliness, isolation, lack of social interaction, and the list is endless. All right, yeah, stress is topmost. Now, there are few other things that can lead to stress. Maybe time will not allow me to unpack that, but the reality is we can't talk about mental health and we not talk about stress. All right, it would also be good to just mention a few signs, because sometimes the most important thing in a whole day is the rest we take between two deep breaths. That's a quote by Helen Song. And sometimes it's important for you to be able to recognize the signs. One of the very popular one is when you start to lose interest in something that you do regularly. When you start to feel that you want to be independent, especially when you just break up from someone and you feel very bad. Maybe it was your third relationship in a year. You don't want anybody to know that you are not okay. And like I said, it's okay not to be okay. Just seek help. I'm happy we have a few men on the call because sometimes men just feel that seeking help is a myth. No, seeking help is a sign of strength. Okay? Because when we talk about mental health, we also will not do justice to it if we don't talk about self-care. Because self-care is how you take your power back. That's how I put it. Self-care is how you take your power back. So there are many sides to self-care. The ability to just take your bath, ability to, let me throw a jab at ladies here. Ability to lose your cornrow when they look rough, ability to shave your armpits, just cut your nails, do a massage once in a while when you can afford it. Just basic self-care. Self-care is not selfishness. It's part of life. All right. So it's important for you to know that self-care is how you take your power back. I've worked with several people who are depressed, and one of the things they start to do less of is to care about themselves. I've had people say things like, "Who is even looking at me?" I've had people who just break up from a relationship, but the reality is that it's not about who is looking about you; it's looking at you. It's about the responsibility you are willing to shoulder, the ability to understand that it's not about anybody; it's just about you. Okay, so it's important for you to know that when you start to lose interest in the things that normally interest you, and you see, let me also add this: we were not created to be independent. No, we were created to be interdependent. Okay, and I'm going to say that again. We were not created into this world to be independent. We were created to be interdependent. In other words, we're created to be able to have relationships, nurture those relationships, connect with the people around us. I remember a particular lady who had relocated to Canada, didn't have friends around, was just walk home. And isolation got her into a point where she just got, into that depression state. So it's not bad. And I want to put a balance. I don't want people to say, oh, Dr. Tunji said isolation is bad. I'm not saying it's bad. It's okay. Even me, sometimes I want me time. But when me time is overshadowing interaction time, it might be pointing to something else. Okay? So what's one thing, before I do the other part, what's one thing that stood out that you have learned in the last, I think I've used 15 minutes. One thing that stood out, please, let's put it in the comment section. I'm waiting. What have you learned in the last 15 minutes? Just one thing that stood out for you. Interdependence. Thank you. Let it come. Let it keep coming. I think we're about 20 something. So I'm waiting. It's okay not to be okay. Thank you. Self-care. Yeah. Is how you take your power back. Thank you. It's okay to not to be okay. It's okay to ask for help. Thank you. Yeah, mental health goes along with self-care. Okay, it's okay to speak up. Thank you. Let's keep it coming. And to adjust my light. All right. A quick one. So we're going to do, so if you're writing, I need you to get your notepads. So I'll do a bit of a self-assessment so that we will know, I will help you know, and I will help you measure, your mental health, especially when you live here. You have to stop your thoughts from controlling you. Brilliant. All right. So let's do a quick self-assessment. So I want you to take a piece of paper and reflect on current stressors, emotions that are recurrent in your life. What are the things that stresses you? Now, let me give an example. If you live in Uyo, for example, and you live in Lagos, 30 minutes traffic is not stress for people in Lagos. 1 hour traffic can be stress for people living in Uyo. I hope Uyo is just a small city as I imagine. So just let's rigorously believe that Uyo is a small city. All right. So I want you to write out, what are your stressors? What are the things that has caused you stress in 2024? All right. Just write it in your own. Okay, someone said academic stress. Okay. All right. If you want to make it interactive, it's okay. All right. Friends. Oh, friends are stressing you. Okay. Time management. Okay. Favor there. Okay. I'll do a free session for you. Just private chat me. Yeah, taking care of the family. Well, I can understand. Black tax, it can be a major thing. Adulthood. Somebody said adulthood is a scam. Motherhood is Stephanie Bele. I can relate. Financial insecurities. Fear of missing out. FOMO. FOMO. That's another thing. Thank you for mentioning that. FOMO is a major thing. You see, social media, financial stress. Thank you, Fausat. Visual financial challenges. I know it's a bit tough globally. And I'm sure Assad has things in line with financial stress for the year. But I just want to talk about FOMO. Now, FOMO is one way to let you know that you still have struggling with esteem issues, emotional stress. What is the full meaning of FOMO? Fear of missing out. And that's what social media writes on. When you consider pressure to figure things out, you don't have to figure everything out when you consider. All right. Transition between stages in life. Thank you for being. I love this audience as it shows that you guys are willing to learn. Anyway, I just wanted to hit the nail a bit on FOMO. Have you seen people put soap on their face and their phone rings and they just wipe their face with soap and run out of the bedroom because someone is calling you? Listen, if you're that important, they will call you back. If the situation is that important, they will call you back. One of the things that has become a form of stressor, which is also what people who design content or social media experts who design how we interact with our world, they write on FOMO. Everybody wants to feel like, oh, all right. Don't be like, some people that I know. I said to one of my clients who came for a relationship therapy, I said, I did an analysis for her, and I came to a conclusion that she wasn't making a choice that she likes. She was making a choice of someone that will have the highest likes on social media. Let me say that again. Sometimes I found out that single people are not just choosing who they like. Single people, sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, they're making choices about the looks, the biceps, stress of receiving phone calls, the biceps, this is a chalkboard or post him, how many likes will you take? No, you don't choose for the likes. You choose who you like. All right. So journal the things that stresses you. Let me run into a few other things I need to do. Then it's important for you to build a supportive system. Thank God Asad is a supportive system. You need to strengthen relationship with your supportive friends, family. I did a session called goal scoring yesterday, and I mentioned to them that the difference between the goal setting and goal scoring is the goal scorer. And one of the things that will make you score your goals in 2025 is the people you decide to keep in your team. All right. There's some relationships that have expired. There's some relationships, like the lady who said relationship are stressing me. It shows that you need to sit down and take time to do an audit, relationship audit. But I won't have time to unpack that. But listen, the decisions you are making now that will make you thrive or otherwise, they are based on beliefs. All right. The beliefs you have, they are being perpetuated by the relationships you have. Now, if you have a problem with a belief, you need to find out who is perpetuating this belief is this belief that I have. So because I belong to a Christian faith, some people just overemphasize the fact that they are pursuing me, you know. Someone said because I eat in my dreams. If you talk to a white man, if you ask a white man, does he or she eat in their dream? They'll say, even if they see it, they'll eat it. So it's about a lot about perception. I'm not denying the fact that there can be spiritual attacks and all of that, but I'm just saying that relationships perpetuate beliefs. And there's certain beliefs, Oyindamola is laughing, that will not help you in 2025. However, it's not just about the beliefs that you need to change. You also need to change the people perpetuating it. Okay? So how do I strengthen relationship with supportive friends and family? Identify individuals you trust and you can share your feelings with. I'm very big on that. Schedule regular check-ins on social activities. Let me share one with you. So I have a broadcast between the 1st and 3rd of every month. I just come up with very lovely, and I have different groups. I have clients, I have, proteges, I have, mentors. I just do a broadcast. Stay in touch with that makes you stay in touch with people. And your phone can do a lot of stuff like that. And I know some of you have very good phones. So you can even program it every month. You can generate this and just send to broadcast, So identify the people who are meant to be in your team in 2025. All right. Schedule regular checks in. Be active in ASAD or other support groups and communities. Then also it's important to set boundaries, particularly for some of you whose relationship are stressing you. You need to protect your time and energy by learning to say no and learning to delegate tasks. Okay. Also, it's important for you to list activities that causes you stress, like I mentioned earlier. Some of you have listed it. Then you need to communicate limits to colleagues, to friends, to families. Then it's important also for you to plan your time for personal space and rest. All right? Because of my time, I'll just shoot the rest. Then it's important to practice mindfulness. Incorporate mindfulness techniques into everyday life so that you can stay present and reduce anxiety. How do I practice mindfulness? All right? Begin with 5 to 10 minutes of meditation daily. All right? There are many apps that can help you do that, Then it's important also for you to practice deep breathing exercise when feeling overwhelmed. So I call it the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. Breathe in 4 and count 1 to 3, 4. Breathe out, counting 1 to 7. Then breathe in again, counting 8. Those are examples of mindful exercise. Then it's also important for you to, engage in mindful activities like, walking, yoga. It's important for you to also. So people think that it's only about people that want to lose weight that need to walk. No, when you go to the gym or you work out and you sweat, there's what we call oxytocin, releasing the feel good hormones. When you work out, when you hug, when you gist with friends, then it's important for you to develop routines that promote physical and emotional health. For example, maintaining, that balance that I know is very difficult sometimes, but one that is in your control, you don't need to buy, you don't need to pay for it, is ensuring that you work out 3 to 4 times a week for at least 30 minutes. The sleep, ensure 7 to 8 hours of sleep. If you have issues with insomnia, I'm sure you can reach out to Dari, who can arrange sessions where you can deal with your insomnia. Then it's important for you to start immediately and monitor your progress every month. Whatever is not monitored cannot be measured. All right, it's important 2025 for you to dedicate time to your hobbies, because I don't know why I'm really so pulled to talk about goals. So what's the place of achieving your goals and your mental health? And when you achieve your goals, one of the things it does for you is that there's a feel-good hormone, but a lot of people are, falling into depression, not feeling happy because they're not achieving their goals. And as the year starts, many people make resolution, and I've put it on my status a lot of times. New Year resolution is not a goal. It's a decision. And there's no act. So for you to let me find a way to tie up goals and mental health. All right. If you're going to score your goals in 2025, that will help you release oxytocin, dopamine. We call it the dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphin. You need to first audit your 2024. All right. And part of auditing your 2024 includes what were the beliefs that perpetuated beliefs, behaviors, and actions that gave you the results of 2024. And ask yourself, what's my potentials for 2025? All right. And ask yourself, will the beliefs, the behaviors, and the actions of 2025, will it help me arrive at my goal for 2025? Obviously not, because it's insanity for you to keep doing the same thing and expect another result. Then I always say this, I don't believe in goal setting. I believe in goal scoring, because there are many goals that have been set, but they were never scored. Ronaldo can say, I want to score 40 goals in a season. If he doesn't work hard and strategize to score those goals, the goals will just become mere wishes on paper. All right. And I've seen many people set goals that have stressed their mental health because they don't feel that, oh, I've done enough. So we need to do a better job of putting ourselves higher on our own to-do list. I also want to put that in the comment section. I know my time is up. I'll take questions. We need to do better in 2025 by putting ourselves higher on or making ourselves a priority on our to-do list. If you check some people's to-do list, call mommy, send money home, they have 25 things. There's none of these that is about them. So as you're writing to-do list, if you're one of those that do it, it's important for you to say, do mindfulness today, all right? Work out today. That's part of self-care. Go and losing your 3 months con roll today. I've always said to people that no session is the same. I didn't plan to say this in this area, but I just feel that some people set up their mental health challenge for December and January because they have set goals that will just not be achieved by virtue of, the fact that they're not doing anything differently. They're not changing their beliefs. They're not changing their team. There's some friends that are not entering 2025 with me. There's some proteges that they're not entering 2025 with me. Because for you to be a goal scorer, I need you to think like a footballer. There must be 11. We used to do 5 before, but now let's even do 5 for those who are just starting. The 5 people closest to you, you need to ask whether what they are saying to you validates the beliefs, the behavior, and the action required to achieve your 2025 goals. Obviously, if they are perpetuating your beliefs, behavior, and actions, and probably strategy, if you didn't achieve your goals last year, then some of them has to be changed. And you don't need to say, I'm not going to talk to you again. You just need to begin to prioritize people who can be in your circle and who can help you achieve your goals in a way that you can measure it, and you can achieve it. All right. So it's important for us to look in that area. Finally, before I go, I also feel it's important to have a gratitude journal. To wake up, or if you are nocturnal, before you sleep every day, find things that you are very happy about or you are grateful about. Because if you don't list, there's this Christian song that says, count your blessings, name them one by one. I use them in sessions because a lot of us don't count. Our default mode is to amplify our pain and minimize our gains. Oh, I just got a car, but I'm not married yet. It's the problem when you're not married. Those kind of things. Oh, I have a good job. How much are they paying? 500. But you see, the fact that I've not been able to buy a car, I've not done vacation this year, say bother. I'm not sure you've got a good job. So have a gratitude list this year. Make sure that you do it in the morning or first thing or last thing at night. But journaling what you are grateful for can be very helpful in helping you maintaining your mental health. Let me take questions. I've exceeded my time so much. Thank you so much, coordinators. So I'll wait for questions as we proceed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Tunji. It's time for questions and answers. So we're going to do it this way. If you have any questions, you drop it in the chat box. And if you want to speak, you can indicate and we would unmute you so that you can ask your questions. But I'm going to be in the chat box now. If you have any questions, just drop it so that I can read it out for Mr. Tunji to answer. Thank you. I'm waiting for questions. Let me see if anyone is raising up their hands. So we don't have any questions today. I guess everyone is very good at the moment. But I would like to say that Dr. Tunji spoke about stress and
Hi, Elizabeth. There is questions in the chat box.
Okay, I can't see them. Let me check. Okay. The first one is, how do I know I am setting goals that are not achievable? Dr. Tunji, a question for you. Okay, I can see.
All right. How do I know, that I'm setting goals that are not achievable? The first thing is, if you did not sit down, I'll just say maybe one or two things. Just a minute. The first thing I always say to people is, if you did not audit the goals of last year, it's almost certain that you will not be able to achieve your goals for this year. Now, there's what we call the clarity of goals, because if your goals are not specific and they're not clear, it's going to be difficult for you to achieve them. Now, big goals like be happier. Someone said, I want to be happier in 2025. They feel unachievable. So instead, define what happier looks like to you, such as I want to spend more time with loved ones or engage in hobbies. Then goals has to be measurable. Can you track your progress? For example, if your goal is to improve your fitness, set a measurable target like exercising 3 times a week. Are they realistic? Goals should challenge you, but still be within your reach. If a goal feels overwhelming, break it into small steps. For instance, rather than saying, I will run a marathon, start with, I will jog for 10 minutes every three times a week. Then does your goals align with your values? Goals that reflect your core values are more fulfilling. Ask yourself, does these goals resonate with who I am and what I want in my life? Then also, I always like to say to people, your destination is constant. The road can change. So are you flexible? Life can be unpredictable. Goals that are to stay motivated even when plans change. Then finally, do you have the habit of celebrating small wins? Sometimes we focus so much on the destination, that we forget to appreciate the progress. So recognizing small achievable steps can keep you motivated. All right?
Yeah.
Did that answer your question?
I'm guessing so, Dr. Tunji. Thank you so much for that answer. And another question here is, as a mental health advocate, how do you increase your knowledge on mental health so as to help spread more awareness?
Yeah, so sorry, I saw one here. I just don't want to lose stuck with it. Let me quickly answer this and I'll come back to that. Someone said, is depression and anxiety the same? Can you see that?
Let me see.
I think it was.
Okay, yeah, it's after the rest, but no problem. You can answer that, sir.
I'll answer that and I'll come back to that because it's a
No
bit
problem.
more relating to
No
what we're saying.
problem,
So
sir.
the answer is
problem.
no. Depression and anxiety are not the same. Though they need or they oftentimes coexist and share some similarities. And I hear this in a lot of my sessions. And here is a breakdown of the two. So for depression, what's the definition of depression? Depression is a mood disorder that is characterized by persistent feelings of sadness, hopelessness, and a lack of interest or pleasure in activities. That's a simple definition. It's also good to mention the symptoms. What are the symptoms? Persistent sickness or emptiness, loss of interest in activities once enjoyed, fatigue or lack of energy, difficulty concentrating, feelings of worthlessness or guilt, changes in appetite. The list is endless. Let me also talk about anxiety. What's the definition for anxiety? It's a condition characterized by excessive worry or fear that is difficult to control, and it oftentimes interferes with daily life. I'm going to say that again. Anxiety is a condition characterized by excessive worry or excessive fear. It's okay to worry, you just lost a loved one, but when it becomes excessive, then it becomes anxiety. Then when it's difficult to control, what are the symptoms? Persistent worry or fear, especially fear of the unknown, restlessness, or feeling on the edge, rapid heart rate, breathing, sweating, difficulty concentrating, sleep disturbances, So the key differences include, so depression is often tied to past experiences or feelings of loss, while anxiety focuses on fear or worry about the future. I want to say that again. All right. Depression is often tied to past experiences or feelings of loss, whereas anxiety focuses on fear or worry about the future. All right. Depression often causes low energy and motivation. Anxiety, on the other hand, can lead to hyperactivity or feeling of on the edge. All right. Physical symptoms, while both can cause sleep and appetite changes, anxiety often includes more physical symptoms like rapid heartbeat, muscle tension than depression. Now, people have asked me, do they overlap? Yes, it's possible to experience both at the same time. All right. We call them, in mental health or in psychotherapy, we call them combined and depression and anxiety. For example, someone might feel hopelessness, which is the hallmark of depression anyway, while also being excessively worried about the future. So they're dealing with a combination of depression and anxiety. So if you suspect you are dealing with either or both, then you can reach out to Dare to reach out to me, then we can schedule a session. All right. I hope I answered that question very well. Okay, so let me take the other question. That one caught my attention because it reoccurs a lot, and I just felt it was needful to answer the question.
Okay, you need me to read it again?
Yes, please.
Okay, it says, as a mental health advocate, how do you increase your knowledge in mental health so as to help spread more awareness?
Okay, so first thing is for you to be curious. They say curiosity kills the cat, but I also believe that curiosity helps fight ignorance. One of the things Assad is doing, just a minute, is to raise more advocates. And one of the things they do is, I'm not sure that they're still doing now, that certification where you go to a training, and you get the knowledge. Advocacy, maybe I should break down the word advocacy and make it a lot more simpler. It's just being a voice to where there is pain. That ability to just conclude that we want to perpetuate something different. There's a lot of stigma. We don't have statistics here, but I'm sure that an average person, because of our religious background and all of that, just naturally would want to stigmatize mental health. So it's just a decision to be different. So it starts with educating yourself, understand mental health basics, learn about mental health conditions, the treatment, the sources, recognize the myths and misinformation about mental health, and be ready to address them with facts on your status. As simple as that, on your WhatsApp. I sometimes have 400, 500 views. So I'm very particular about what I post. And several people have said, oh, that post was just what I needed. Okay? Attending workshops, webinars, online courses, reading books and articles from trusted sources. I don't just recommend social people to go online, because there are many junks online. So you need to get from trusted sources, then develop your communication skills, practice active listening in your own community, share stories like this session. Like I said, go on your status, flood your status with what you have learned today. You're advocating already. All right. So it's important to also, maybe if you are not yet active with Assad, build a partnership with Assad, collaborate with Assad, and ensure that whatever they're doing to spread the message of mental health are a part of it. Because when we use social media to share helpful content, we're advocating. When we use social media to share personal insights, we're advocating. When we're using our resources and platforms like Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram to share helpful content on mental health, we're advocating. All right? You can be a blogger on mental health. You can organize a small event in your school. You can talk to your HR. The list is endless. All right? But the first thing is be more knowledgeable about what you want to advocate about it. I hope I answered your question. Oh, is the screen frozen? Hello?
So I believe you did.
Hello?
So can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes,
There was
I
a
was
bit
saying
of
that I believe you answered. I believe you've answered the
okay.
person's questions. So I think Madam Elizabeth is a bit occupied and maybe network took her out. But if that's all the questions, we just like to appreciate you, sir, so much for your time, for showing up for us as usual, and want to say that God bless you and we love you. Also, I believe that he has dropped his number in the comment section. So whoever would like to reach out to him can do
Camera was
so.
off.
Oh, okay, sir. So I see that Musa Dauda Jika has a question. Musa, do you have a question? You can unmute your mic and ask. But because of time, I believe that will be the last question. So Musa, you can unmute your mic and ask.
Thank you very much, Father, for the lesson. My question is, okay, in some scenarios.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Musa, you might need to speak up because we can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
No, Musa, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. So my question, sir, is that in some scenarios, there are people that are depressed and they don't actually like to actually speak out. Even if you as an advocate, you try to actually speak out to them so that you can actually be of help. Yeah. But they normally don't talk. They're just quiet. They are always indoors in such scenarios. How can an advocate help out in such scenarios, sir? Hello? Sir, have you gotten my question, sir? Hello?
Yeah, we heard you, but I think Mr. Tunji, please can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, Mr. Tunji. I think Dr. Tunji is off the call. So maybe what we can do is, if you have this question, he has dropped his email and his phone number, so you could direct the question to him. Is that
Okay.
okay?
I'm
Alright,
very
so
much okay.
It's probably his network. Maybe we'll just give a few minutes. I think we still have a little bit of time.
I have another observation regarding the certification of this very
Okay.
particular thing. Is there any possible way whereby there can be discounts for the certification?
Okay, what you will do, please, could you send us a message? Are you following the Instagram page or any of our social media handles?
Yes, I'm following the question.
Okay, please, could you drop a message there so that we'll direct your issue to our head so that we'll respond to you with that.
All right. Thank you very much.
If you're on any of the handles, just drop it there. I'm sure he's going to see it himself and he will respond to you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Tunji is not back. We don't know why. And I can still see some questions here, but
I think they can still do the same thing. Ask him maybe in his email.
yeah, because I don't know why he went off, and so there's a question here. Somebody was asking if your family is the reason for some of your mental health issues, e.g., anxiety, depression. How do such people handle this? Do they stay away from the family or cut them off? So I would attempt this a bit, and I hope it helps you. So it's very important for you to set what we call healthy boundaries, and it's very simple. You know, with family, we can't really cut off family easily like that. But how do you set boundaries? You try to talk to them about it. I don't appreciate how you speak to me like this. I don't appreciate the way you act, and I think sometimes our family, they act not because they understand what they are doing, it's not, you can't give what you don't have. So sometimes they act based on their own understanding. That's why generally we have what we call generational traumas, or we're a generation, you get. So you see some things are just a pattern. So it's a normal thing for them. So as much as possible, you try to I don't want to use the word shield, but yes, kind of. You try to take care of yourself. Mr. Tunji spoke about, Dr. Tunji spoke about self-care, and self-care means doing everything to take care of yourself, doing everything to take care of your own mental health. You know why? Because if you are saying that you're waiting for your family to do the right thing, I don't know, maybe that day might never come. So you try to do things to manage your own depression and anxiety. And but thank God he's coming back into the room. I'm sure you will have better answer. So Musa Jika, I think Mr. Dr. Tunji is back. So quickly ask your question, but this one caught my attention. We'll ask after your question. Dr. Tunji, can you hear me, sir? Okay. He needs to be unmuted. Okay. Aha. Okay.
Yes, I
Welcome
can
back,
hear you.
sir.
Yes, I can hear
Okay. Okay, so there's a question here. Musa was asking a question, but I don't know if he cannot hear me right now. But this question caught my attention, and I was trying to, in my own little knowledge, I was trying to, talking about why it's important to set boundaries with our families. But the question is, if your family is the reason for some of your mental health issues, e.g. anxiety, depression, how do such people handle this? Do they stay away from the family or cut them off?
So I've had people ask me this question. It can never be a one size fits all. I think the first thing is to be able to know the dynamics of the family. So the challenge with African family most sometimes is that they can be a bit entitled. However, it's also important for you to, I don't know whether you are married. I don't know whether this started after you got married. If you are married, what I will tell you after you are married is not what I will tell a single person. But generally, I think it's important for anybody who truly wants their mental health to thrive to be able to have difficult conversations. The ability to be assertive and not being aggressive. You know, like I said, African families can be very, very entitled. All right. The black tax issue, I've done a series on that on social media. I wish I could share the link here. I did it with, I think, Silverboard or something. You know, but this is my very honest counsel. You need to be honest with yourself, first and foremost. Secondly, no, it cannot be everybody. And if you think it's just the entire family, then prioritize, you know, how you speak to them. The ones that understand you, have very factual conversation with them, you know, to say, this is how I feel about X, Y, Z. My silence is not lack of regard for you. It's just my little way of saying that I would like you know, to set boundaries about this. If it's about money, this is how much I have every month. I'm doing XYZ projects, you know, you can take I'm doing XYZ projects and I'm not going to be able to do this. So don't just ghost them. Let a conversation precede your action. That's always what I recommend.
Yeah.
When a conversation precedes your action, it's better understood. Now, will they all understand? No. Will you be misunderstood? Yes, sometimes. But be ready to be truthful to yourself. Like I said in the beginning, it's important for you to prioritize yourself this year, you know. And sometimes all of this we're talking about is about finances. So I would drift a bit to talk about finances. Say, okay, my budget for the farm, I earn 500K. My budget for farm black tax is 100K. My parents' priority, I'll do 25. I'm just example 25 to them. Then I'm not doing anything again. Because if you don't set a budget for black tax, you'll find out that you want to become Jehovah Jireh and you cannot save the world. You can't save your family. All right, so that's the generic answer we give. If there are now specific ones, I dropped my number already, so you can reach out to me. I saw one moderator that I don't want us to gloss over.
Okay.
And someone said, I think it's about, can I manage multiple disorders or something?
Okay.
I'm trying to.
I can find it.
Did you see that one that talk about, can I manage?
The one I can say about manage is, how do we manage anxiety that has crept in subconsciously? That's the one.
Okay,
you
so
know,
how do you manage anxiety that has crept in subconsciously? First and foremost, like I said, I mentioned earlier the difference between anxiety and depression. You know, anxiety is about worry about the future. First, what are you worried about? Write it out on paper. Sometimes we're not even aware. All right, develop awareness. Yeah, multiple personality disorder. I'll come back to that.
Okay, yeah, I've seen it.
I've
seen it too.
So you need to write down. I'm worried about this. What is it? And every worry has a trigger. What's my trigger? Sometimes social media can be the trigger. With the many clients I've worked with, you just find out that they go on the pages, talk to their friends who are married. She's single, has gone to check. Tola married last week. Elizabeth is married next month. I'm the only one that is not married. And comparison is always the enemy of, you know, joy. So sometimes I've had to tell my clients to take a break from social media because it was a trigger to anxiety. So know where the source is, know what you're anxious about, know the source of it. All right. You see, the opposite of anxiety I always put it this way, is to begin to, or the first step coming out of anxiety is to begin to journal the things that you are grateful about. Because when you're anxious about the future, you need to also remind yourself that 75% to 80% of what you're worried about never comes to pass. And worry and anxiety, they're like a rocking chair. They give you something to do, but they don't take you anywhere. Sadly so. All right. So then you need to learn to live in the moment. You don't have control over tomorrow. You have control over today. And if you're not careful, you will live in that vicious circle. Oh, I need to get a job. Now you get a job. You now begin, so I need to get a car. You got a car. I'm going to get married. I'm going to have children. So you are not even enjoying the moment. All right. So it's important for you to raise your awareness. What am I anxious about? All right. What is the trigger to my anxiety? All right. Because those are generic things I like to share. Sometimes it's deeper than that, you know. So I need you to maybe read up more about it, and if you need further help, just reach out and we'll find a way around it. All right.
Yeah.
Then the one
and I
that
think it's important. Okay, go ahead, sir. Sorry.
No, so what you want to say?
Sorry?
I want to hear what you're saying.
No. I was just saying, I think it's very important for us to always pay attention to our triggers. I think that's where the answer lies, really lies.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so for the multiple disorders, it's difficult to give an answer to that because diagnosing disorders can only be done by professionals.
Okay.
Only professionals can diagnose mental health disorders, you know. But for immediate, maybe the ones that are maybe getting out of order, you might need to reach out to Darren so that they can reach out to therapists that can arrange. But there must be, this is always what I say to people, there must be diagnosis before there's prescription. Because there are things you need to check. Do you have this? Do you have this? Has this been occurrent for this period of time? You know, has that been recurrent? If it's recurrent, then how long? So I don't want to just give a blank answer. It's a quack that will give you accurate prescription without proper diagnosis. So the first thing is to diagnose that those disorders are there. If they are clinically diagnosed, then we can now say, okay, because I mean, it's blank. These disorders might have some things that are overlapping, but it's important for you to us to check because sometimes they might sound the same, but just one particular emotions that is a bit more persistent can tweak the, prescription that will be for that person. So if you notice it, maybe you read up about it, is another thing to be able to now do a clinical diagnosis of it. Then you can now seek therapy. All right.
You're very right, sir. Thank you so much for that, because I see a lot of people just come to you and they will tell you that they are bipolar, and you ask them how did they know? And I mean, they just sat down and, for some people, they just go online and see, they feel that once they see that the symptoms are the same, they feel automatically they are bipolar, or they have anxiety. Anxiety is even better, because of course once in a while we deal with that anxiety. As long as you have life, you have that anxiety issue once in a while. But it's very important, like Dr. Tunji said, it's very important for you to make sure you are dealing with what the professional has told you is wrong with you. Yeah. And there's another question here, Dr. Tunji. Someone is asking, what causes anxiety? Does having narcissistic people around you bring you anxiety?
Does what?
Does having narcissistic people around you bring you anxiety?
Absolutely yes. Capital yes. That's another conversation for another day. A narcissist has a way of guilt-tripping you. I mean, if I talk about narcissist for the next 1 hour, I won't stop. So if you are dating a narcissist or you are a friend to one, there are tendencies for you to be anxious because they won't even admit they are wrong. In fact, that's not right. A narcissist, it's not that they will not admit they are wrong. They don't have the capacity to admit that they are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And I have worked with many people who are dated narcissists. The aftermath effect is bad. I've worked with several who got into depression. You know, they will guilt trip them, isolate them from people. You walk on eggshell around them. And when you walk on eggshell around anyone, will be anxious because I'm not even sure what you will say that will make you feel right, or what you will say right that will make him go bad. So yeah, it will be by default. However, there are even levels of being narcissistic, you know. So yeah, it will be.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And concerning that family thing, before you came on, I was talking, but mine was from a different perspective about setting boundaries. And I said one of the ways you can is always to let your family know, I don't appreciate you talking to me like that. I don't appreciate you doing things like that. Because sometimes our families are coming from somewhere that is normal for them to do those things. Like it's a generation of, okay, they say hurtful words to their children. That's how they too were brought up. So I was coming from that perspective before you came on. So I don't know. I wanted you to shed more light on that aspect so that they would have more understanding about, the question about
just you were spot on.
Yes, sir.
You were spot on. However, I'd also want to add this. So an average African family is dysfunctional.
Yes,
average,
sir.
not all.
Yes, sir.
And there are things that we have done consistently that has become a culture. For example, body shaming. An average African auntie body shames his niece and his nephews. Let me give you an example. Elizabeth, if I see you now and say, oh, Orobo, Elizabeth, Orobo, your auntie feels that it's greeting you, but if I add a prefix to your stature, that's body shaming. If I say, oh, Stephanie Lepa, that's body shaming.
Yeah.
Sometimes your aunties call you during your birthday. I mean, it became to me in December. I'm not picking it. But it's like this time, prayers coming as a threat to mental health. They now begin to feel pressure. Oh, mommy said, oh, don't you know you're 30 now? You know, so there are things that has become part of our fabric that oftentimes trigger mental health, make our emotional health very unstable, that can now spiral down to several things. So it takes a lot to be able to now draw those boundaries. Don't shut the door, because in my language, they say a bad child has a good day, you know? So just like I said, learn to have honest conversation with people that are not comfortable with what they're doing to you. All right? And be willing to stand by what you believe your conscience upholds, not what sentiment upholds. We're very sentimental in Africa. Some relationships have expired, but in the name of, if you go, all right? But I always say that even if you are going to sever a relationship, don't let it die a natural death, and don't close the door. I used to have one area father in the community. The community not far from Unilag. It was very pronounced for area boys. In the name of what people will say, thank you, Toby. But those guys at some point, I didn't like what they were doing, and I had to address them. But I kept the relationship, I kept my distance. There was a day that one of our church members was robbed. Guess who I needed? The area boy who had misbehaved at the time, who had rebuked, but I still kept the door open. All right. So sometimes bad people have good days. I hardly close doors except you do things that are, extremely criminal. If they are behavioral, some people don't even know better. I mean, some of those aunties, sincerely, they don't mean to hurt you. They just feel, oh, Elizabeth or a ball. That's how.
Yeah.
But setting boundaries doesn't mean you are shutting the door. There are times you need to set boundaries. Keep the door open in case you might need to knock it again. All right? So it requires wisdom, and it requires that flexibility. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I truly enjoyed this session today. And I mean, what would have been the best topic for us to start the year? I mean, it's going to, I believe it's going to help a lot of people to enter the year better, enter the year knowing what to do. And we have come to the end of the session. Then as we conclude today's training on mental health and breaking the stigma, I would like to truly extend our heartful thanks to our speaker for the insightful discussion we've had. I would like all of you to put on the comment section. Thank you so much, Dr. Tunji. God bless you, sir. We love you. And we're looking forward to more and more sessions with you. Your expertise and passion for mental health have truly inspired us all and provided valuable knowledge we can apply in our lives and communities. We thank you so much, sir. We truly, truly appreciate. We do not take you for granted because we know we always stress you, but you don't complain. You just come and you happily give us, you pour into us without any limitations. And we're very excited to always have you. God bless you, sir. God bless your family. God bless the works of your hands. And we pray that God will continue to increase you so that you'll be able to continue to pour into us. Yes, everybody saying thank you to you in the chat box. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. And for those that were able to attend the training today, I would love you to really take these lessons learned today to heart and commit to fostering a supportive environment for ourselves and others. Remember that mental health matters. He said one thing: if you can start today with this training, you get what he has taught you today, you can go now to your status, just be pouring it. You don't know who that this thing is going to, most times, like I like to post things on my status and someone will just tell me one day, thank you, it's because of this thing you posted. You don't know who you might be reaching while you're doing that. And if you're in your family, you talk to them about these things. And if you talk, just go and tell them about setting boundaries, they will understand too that they need to understand that they need to have boundaries too. They shouldn't talk to you anyhow. They shouldn't act anyhow towards you. And we are also excited that we're going to still have another free mental health training in the coming month, February. We have it every month for those of you that are joining us for the first time. So you look out for our next training. When it's time, we're going to send out the information and we'll be glad to have you. And if you are still interested in paying for the certificate, please do let us know. Send us a message and we'll make that available for you. We'll send you the account you're supposed to pay for it. It's a soft copy certificate, but of course you can always print it. And please plan to attend our next meeting. And I want to thank the team, the mental health department team. I know it was very difficult for us. We almost canceled this session but I'm so happy it happened because I mean, it has been like a blessing to all of us. We're happy that we started this year with this. And thank you all for attending. Thank you for the team. Thank you for the hard work you put into this. Thank you for other ASAD members that are not even from mental health department. They had to come in to help us. People like Omotayo and Mary, God bless you. And thank you for Dari for not always giving up on your people, and I mean, it was really an amazing session today, and I appreciate everyone. And from ASADs to you all, we'll see you next time. And thank you so much. Dr. Tunji, I hope you have a nice day, a nice week.
Absolutely.
Talk to you soon. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I had an amazing time. Always a great time with you guys.
You did too. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much. So we've come to the end of the session today. God bless you all. Have a nice week. And if you have any questions, please just send a message on any of our platforms and would try to attend to you. Yeah. Bye, everyone.